Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Now we're going to talk about Angel Michael. Angel Michael is I would call him a messenger that the Bible talks most about as a fighter. And if we see most of his pictures or most of his photos that are taken, or the drawings that are taken, we see him with a sword, we see him with a spear, we see him with the war weapons. And that comes from the biblical part of view, where he's being represented as the one that God sent to fight Satan and throw him on the ground. If you remember in the Bible, God has never had a battle, has never fought himself with Satan, but it was his angel that he sent forward to gain fight. So it's Angel Michael that is believed to have fought the battle with Satan and won it. So he's an angel in charge of war. And if we realize that most countries or most places where they have put pictures of warriors, they have taken Angel Michael and put him as an icon. So the name Michael or Michael comes from the Hebrew word. So it's a Hebrew word that means who is like God. So it's a form of worship to God. It's a form of praise to God, that who is like him. As I had already said, that he's a warrior and he has an armor wielding sword, intending to slay the dragon, and which symbolizes the devil. So with a spear in his hands, and this is the role of a fighter. So Michael has led heavenly hosts in war, leading to an explosion of rebellious angels from paradise. And since then, he has continued to stand up as God's defender against evil. And his desists. So the theater of this new battle is no longer heaven or forbidden to Satan, but souls of humans that are constantly targeted by the devil, that are constantly targeted by the wicked forces. So when the devil tries to convince men that God is a tyrant who limits their freedom and their own full realization of creation, Angel Michael is sent from heaven to protect men and guard them and guide them and teach them to distinguish between what is evil and what is good. So in the book of Revelations, we can see that John has described him as a majestic being vested with the task of examining souls destined to the everlasting judgment. So the judge of souls, therefore, and the protector and the defender of the church and the people of God. So we are saying, if we look at different functions that have been put forward that Angel Michael does, we can see some of them that I've just mentioned. So what are the 6 biblical facts about Michael as an angel? Angel Michael, next to Gabriel and Satan, Michael is probably the most famous angelic being in the Bible. And since we find angels so fascinating, there has been a lot of talks about angels. And it's often hard to discern whether what we have learned about Michael is biblical or is from somewhere else. We know that Michael is an archangel, but what does that mean? Who is an archangel? What does he do? What has he accomplished and what are his responsibilities? Where does he fit in God's holy plan? So number 1, Michael is the only one the Bible calls an archangel. We are told that Michael's title is, if you read the book of Jude, chapter 9, it isn't, the word archangel isn't used to describe him in the Old Testament, but another angel calls him one of the chief princes, or the chief princes. That's the book of Daniel 10:13. So calling Michael one of the chief princes implies that Michael has peers. However, if they are anywhere archangels, the Bible is not talking more about that. Number 2, Michael stands to guard over Israel. In Daniel's last vision, angel describes how he's described as the last days out of Jews. It is this time that Michael, the great prince who stands to guard over the sons of people, will rise. That's as written in the book of Daniel 12:1. The angel also refers to Michael as Daniel's prince. That's Daniel 10:21. The Bible doesn't say standing guard, but it's very clear that Michael has special responsibilities for Israel. Fact number 3, Michael directly opposes Satan. Jude mentions that Michael argues with Satan about the body of Moses, a node of Jewish tradition. Unfortunately, we are not given many more information about the argument about Jude and what Jude tells Michael. But Jude does not tell us that Michael wasn't bold to pronounce a ruling judgment. The Greek word railing is often translated as blasphemous and defaming against the devil. What does say is interesting enough to make the fact itself. So Michael directly opposes Satan. Number 4, Michael only says 4 words in the Bible. That's according to Jude 9. Michael says, Lord rebuke you. So in his battle he uses words, let God rebuke you, as it is. So 5th, Michael is a military commander of some angels. In John's letter, or in the book of John, we see the great war in heaven, Michael and his angels versus dragon, Satan and his angels. The devil and his forces are too weak to remain in heaven. However, they are thrown on earth. That's according to the book of Revelation 12:7-9. Number 6, Michael battles the patron angels over other nations. That's in Daniel chapter 10. The prophet fasts and humbling himself before God and praying for understanding regarding the Jewish future. An angel finally appears in the 21 days later and explains the delay. The prince of Persia was opposing him on that trip. The angel stays with Daniel long enough to give an outline of the future for the Jews, but he must return for fighting of the prince of the Persia. Only Michael supports his angel against these forces. So we can find that information in the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 21. So it turns out in the Bible doesn't say very much about Michael, the angel. Most of we have heard is probably derived from the extra biblical sources. What might frustrate our curiosity, then again, God didn't have to reveal anything about Michael, the existence of archangels, but God has graciously given us a glimpse at behind-the-scene actions and personalities in the spiritual realm. Still, angels are fascinating, and the mystery about Angel Michael, will probably give you an imagination and a lot of exercise for years to come. So if you want to know more, you can read the book of Daniel, because it mentions Michael and many other items in that book. So if you are still interested in listening to angels and hearing more about angels, wait for me in the next video. I'll be talking about another angel and the information that we have about that angel and the source. So it's fascinating. Personally, I'm still searching and I would love to know more about angels. I'm still opening up my heart, my mind, my soul, my spirit, and my body to have different encounters with angels. And probably you heard in my previous video, I talked about my encounter with the angels and what happened. So I'm still interested in knowing more. And if you're interested in knowing more, please stick to my channel and subscribe, like, and share. Always get back to me if you have some information that you'd love us to share. Thank you.